guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. It really means a lot to me. I'm super excited about today. I'm off of work today. Today's Wednesday and the weather looks like it's going to be nice, so I'm going to go fishing later. But I want to let it warm up a little bit outside before I go. So in the meantime, I thought I would bring you guys a different type of video. Today I want to show you guys my 2022 rod and reel arsenal. Now, as you get to know me, you'll notice and realize that I'm pretty much a tackle and gear junkie when it comes to fishing. I love looking up the newest, the latest rods and reels and lures, and according to my wife, I have way too much gear, way too many lures. So yeah, I'm super excited about this kind of stuff. So I just want to hop right into it, guys. When I got into fishing more seriously over the past few years, I really started buying a lot of rods and reels, and I've also ended up selling a lot of them. I'm the type of person, I've really enjoyed kind of trying the different brands and the different types of fishing gear, different types of rods and reels, and seeing what I like the best, seeing what's most comfortable and most productive for me. So I feel like I've finally started narrowing down like my favorite brands and my favorite rods and reels and all that good stuff, so I'm excited to bring it to you. Now, these are what I'm starting the year with. I had most of them at the end of last year, but more than likely I will probably be getting more rods and reels throughout the year. So whenever I do, I will definitely bring them to you guys and make sure I show you. So without further ado, let's begin. I guess we'll start with spinning rods. I don't really use them as much, and I only have 3 spinning setups, and all of these are relatively new. Let's see, we'll start with this right here. This I'm excited about. I actually haven't even used this setup yet. I have used the reel. This is the Shimano Stratic CI4. I believe it, yes, in the 2500 size. I paired it with the new rod I got around Christmas time. It's the G Loomis GCX. It's a 7-1 extra fast. You can see the details here on the side. Man, guys, I really come to love G Loomis rods. I love the cork handles. They're super sensitive, super lightweight. Man, they're just super nice rods, and I'm super excited to try this thing out. I have it paired here with a finesse swim bait, but basically both of my spinning rods, except for one, I have one specific drop shot set up, but the other 2, man, I can use these for wacky rigs, shaky heads, Ned rigs, finesse swim baits, you name it. So yeah, I can't really say much about this this rod. I love the reel. Shimano, man, they are probably my favorite brand as far as reels go, and even rods. I love the rods. But yeah, super excited to try this thing out this year. Can't wait to bring more information to you guys and my personal review about the rod itself. Next up here, I mentioned this if you see my last video. I mentioned this is my first Megabass rod. It's the Megabass Arachi shaky head rod. It's a 7-foot, medium fast. Right now I have it paired up with the Shimano Vanford. Man, I've really come to love this reel as well. It's in the 2500 size, yeah, 2500 HG. Most of my these 2 spinning setups that I have, I usually run a 10 to 12 pound braid to a 10 to 12 pound fluorocarbon leader when I'm throwing Ned rigs and shaky heads and those types of things. My drop shot setup is a little different. I'll explain that to you guys here. But last time was my last video. This was actually the first time I used this rod as well. I've been using this reel for a little while now. I love it. Super smooth, super strong, man, just an awesome reel. Super durable. The rod itself, I haven't caught a fish on it yet, but man, I can definitely feel structure super easy. It's very sensitive, very light. So I'm excited to catch more fish on this. I'm hoping to get on some smallmouth with this setup here in the next couple of months. I got a trip planned and I can't wait for that. This right here, this next setup, this is my drop shot specific setup. This is another G Loomis, little older rod. It's an E6X. This is the, let's see, it's the Mag Light extra fast drop shot specific rod. You see I have a Ned rig on it here, but I was out. This was the only spinning rod I had. I was out fishing. Can't remember when I went, but I decided I had a drop shot on there. Decided to just throw a Ned rig just to see if the fish would bite. Didn't really have much luck that day, but an awesome rod again. Like I mentioned, super light, super durable, very sensitive. Love the cork handles, man. I've had this thing for a while, used it a lot, and I mean, there's a little discoloration as you expect when your hands get dirty or wet, but man, the cork just really holds up well. Just an awesome rod. The reel I have here, this is a new, for me, it's a new Lew's Mach 2 spinning reel. I believe it's a size 200. Yeah, 200. I got this paired up with, I believe it's 10-pound braid to an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. I like to go a little bit lighter on my drop shot rods. I'm not a super like huge drop shot user, but it's something I want to experiment more with here in the future. I really love watching Greg Blanchard, and he smokes them on a drop shot, man. So he really inspired me to kind of like experiment more with the drop shot, so I can't wait to do that more here in the future. But that is all of my spinning setups, and as you'll notice, I really try my best to take care of all my gear. I use rod gloves to cover all my rods, and for my reels, I don't have them on now just so I can show you guys, but for my reels I use the Tackle Warehouse reel covers. I notice it helps protect it from dirt, from dust, from scratches, different things, especially in transportation when I have my rods in my truck. Some of them hang out, you know, it just helps protect them. So I'd highly recommend these things, these products, just to help protect your gear and make it last. So with my casting setups, I'm going to start from the heavy to the more medium action rods. This also is a fairly new, I told you guys I love getting and experimenting with new setups and new gear. A fairly new setup here. I've had the reel longer than the rod itself. This is the new Abu Garcia Pentista X. This is the 7.3 heavy fast action. Man, for a heavy rod, this thing is super lightweight. I got it paired up with the Abu Garcia Zeta 7:1 to 1 gear ratio, and right now, as you can see, I've got an Alabama rig on there. For the winter and spring, I'm going to use it for my Alabama rig rod. It's not too big, like for my kayak. I can easily handle it, control it. It handles this Alabama rig perfectly, man. I've yet to catch a fish on an Alabama rig, so I'm super excited trying to do that. I really hope I can do that this year. That's one of my goals. But whenever summertime comes around, I'm probably going to use this setup here. I have this in another heavy rod. I'm probably going to use this for my frog rod. So I'm going to put some braid on there, 55 pound braid probably, and use this for my frog and or punching setup. So far guys, I love this rod and reel. Can't complain at all about it. Haven't caught many fish on the rod itself, but for the reel, I've caught quite a few fish on it, and I do love it so far. I can't complain. Super easy to cast and get adjusted. Very hard to backlash, so highly recommend this setup. This is the only Abu Garcia rod and reel that I actually have, so would definitely recommend this. Next here, I have quite a few of these rods. This is a Dobbins rod. I actually have a favorite rod cover on there from another rod I have that I don't really use as much now. But this is the Dobbins Champion XP, Champion Extreme XP. These rods right here are probably the most expensive rods I have. But man, if you have the extra money to put into and invest into these rods, it's so worth it. They're super light, super sensitive, super durable, super powerful. One thing I really like about these Dobyns rods, Dobyns has become one of my favorite rod manufacturers. I love it because though this is a 7-foot heavy fast. As you see, I got a jig on here right now, and I'm probably going to use this for flipping and pitching when the spring, summer come around. But even though it's a heavy, man, I can throw lures down to a 1/4 of an ounce and not have any issue. That's one thing I really like about Dobyns. These rods are super versatile. So though it may be a 7.4 or so medium heavy or a heavy rod, I can use it for casting a wide variety of lures and lure weights. So I love that about Dobyns rods. Haven't had any Dobyns rods break, knock on wood. The cork, super durable. I got it paired up with a Shimano Curado K. I told you guys I love the Shimano reels, and I've had the Shimano Curado K for quite a while now. Let's see, this is the 7/4 to 1 gear ratio. I got some 20-pound, I believe it's P-line tactical fluorocarbon on there. So that way, if I'm pitching, flipping around some heavy structure cover, I wouldn't have to really worry about breaking off. This rod and reel combo, super awesome. Highly recommend it. Moving on to the next one. This is Shimano X-Pride. I actually just saw where Shimano's coming out with a new X-Pride, and man, honestly, I'll probably end up snagging one at least, because I love these. You probably heard a lot about them, and I would say they live up to the hype. This is, let's see, I believe it's a 7.2, yeah, 7.2 medium heavy fast. I got a jig on there right now. I throw lighter jigs on there. I can throw Texas rigs on there. I can throw spinner baits on here, swim jigs. I can even throw a chatterbait. I am more specific when it comes to my chatterbait setup, just because I love chatterbaits so much, bladed jigs. But I can do pretty much anything with this rod. This right here is paired up with a Shimano Metanium. Probably my favorite reel and probably the most expensive reel I have. This 7:1 to 1 gear ratio, but man, I love this reel. It's so hard to backlash, super durable. The knobs here are a little bigger, a little oversized, and I love that because it's super easy to grab onto and real fast to get those fish in. I believe I got 15-pound fluorocarbon on there. The fluorocarbon I like the most, guys. I can't remember the exact brand I have on each one, but the brands I really love are P-line tactical fluorocarbon and Seaguar and VizX. Really love those brands of line and highly recommend them. Hardly had any issues at all with them. But man, I really love this setup here. Super light, super durable, super versatile, and you really can't go wrong with it, man. Super awesome setup. Next, we have another Dobyns rod. This is the Dobyns Champion XP. This is a 7-foot medium heavy fast. But like I mentioned, I can throw baits down to a 1/4 of an ounce up to 3/4 of an ounce. I got it paired up with the Shimano SLX MGL, which I haven't had for too long. This reel is only $150, so it's one of the more affordable reels out there on the market, but it's an awesome reel, man. I got it, I think I got some 12-pound fluorocarbon on there. I would usually run probably 14 to 15-pound fluorocarbon on here, but it being the winter time, I wanted a little lighter, throw lighter weight, lighter baits. I got a finesse jig on there right now. But man, rod and reel setup, I love it. Love the rod. Again, I'm overemphasizing this, but super light, super sensitive, super durable, versatile. Cork is holding up great. I've had some rods, man, Paid a lot of money, several $100s, a couple $100s for them, and the cork just goes bad. You know, as a kayak fisherman, I'm hard on my gear, and so I need something that's going to hold up and withstand dropping in the water or banging up against a tree. And I've really beat these rods and reels up, and so far they've withheld all the pressure. Yeah, and guys, for this reel, coming in at $150, the SLX MGL, man, I would highly recommend it. Honestly, wouldn't mind having another one of these. Super easy to dial in and very hard to backlash. Yeah, love the setup, man. Moving on, got another Dobyns rod here. This is my last Dobyns Champion Extreme HP. Not a whole lot else to say about it, just another phenomenal rod. This is a 7.4 medium heavy fast action. Again, I can use this rod, man, for just about anything. I can throw, guys, I can even throw weightless plastics on these Dobyns rods. Just they're that easy to cast, that versatile. They have that much power to, you know, hook set a fish, whether you're fishing a weightless plastic, a jig, you name it, man. These rods are just awesome and super versatile. I can't overstate that enough. As you can see here, cork again, holding up awesome. I've used this. I use this mainly for Texas rigs, jigs, throw spinnerbaits on there, chatterbaits. It's a good chatterbait rod. Like I said, I'm very picky about my chatterbait rods, and I've had a lot of good luck with this one as a chatterbait rod. This reel here is fairly new to me, man. It's my only Daiwa reel that I own right now. It's the new Zillion. I believe it's around 350 bucks. It's got that zero adjustment tension knob there. So normally, as you know, or if you're new to fishing, to get the reel dialed in, you're going to have to adjust the brakes and that tension knob based on the weight of the lure. But guys, I haven't had, with this awesome perk to this reel, I haven't had to touch that tension knob at all, and the reel is very hard to backlash. That's a cool feature about it. Again, I believe I got 15-pound fluorocarbon on there. I really can't complain about this reel, man. It's super nice, super smooth, strong drag. Not only is it perform well, it looks really nice too. Just another awesome setup that I've really come to love, man. And like I mentioned, I've found out what reels and rods I really like, and it's going to be hard to steer away from them. Moving on here, this is my chatterbait specific rod. I can also throw lipless cranks and some bigger crankbaits on this, but really this is what I throw most of my chatterbaits on, and I can throw lipless crankbaits on it as well. Now, I've had several glass rods in the past, and I can tell you from having and owning them, I was not happy with the glass rods. They're just super thick, big, heavy. I didn't like them. But I just kept fishing chatterbaits on various rods, and was catching fish, but I knew I could catch more. And so I really dug into and researched, you know, awesome chatterbait rods based on other reviews from other users. They all, or several of them that I read, really pointed to this rod. This is a 7.2 medium heavy moderate action. It is a glass rod. And guys, if I didn't know it was a glass rod, it would be hard to tell that it is. It's not super thick. It's not heavy at all, man. I can cast this thing all day and not be worn out. So that is super key to me. The other rods, the glass rods, you're throwing them, and after a while, man, your hands, your wrists, your arms are worn out because they're so heavy and thick. I got it paired up with a Shimano Bantam in a 7:1 to 1 gear ratio. Man, I love these Bantams. This is probably my second favorite reel. I have 2 Shimano Bantams, and they're awesome. Super easy to dial in, cast, durable, perform awesome, super smooth, hard to backlash. Just an awesome setup. Guys, I highly recommend. I can't recommend this thing enough if you're looking for a solid chatterbait rod. I'm actually going to be going out and using this today with my fire crawl jackhammer. Really hoping I can put some in the boat with it. But man, these Shimano X-Brides, they're the real deal, guys. Highly recommend this. Highly recommend it. Now I use this is a Dobyns rod here. I used this the other day in one of my videos. This is one of Dobyns' newer line of rods. It's the Dobyns Caden series. This is a more affordable rod itself, and though it's a little cheaper than the other ones that I have, it performs awesome. This is I'm trying to read the details on the back. I just want to be sure that I'm giving you guys the right information. I caught several fish on this jackhammer in my video the other day. I use this mainly for rattle traps, lipless crankbaits. You can use it for top water treble hook baits, deeper diving crankbaits. I got this one for deeper diving crankbaits because in the kayak it's just harder for me to use that super long rod. So this comes in at 7 foot 3 inches. It can cast lures from a 1/4 ounce up to an ounce. And from my experience, it handles it pretty well. I haven't done a whole lot of cranking with it, but I'm using it more for lipless crankbaits, and for that it does the job really well. Super light and durable. I can throw also, as you can see, chatterbaits on there because it's that medium heavy. I can rip it out of the grass really well, but because it has that moderate fast action, it has a good parabolic action to it, and so it makes it easier for the fish to hold on to and not for me to jerk them out of their mouth. Got it paired up with my Shimano Corrado DC. It's a 7/4 to 1 gear ratio. Another amazing reel. Shimano, man, they just pump out quality reels. I love them. If you don't have a DC reel, I'd highly recommend it for the sound alone, but also, man, they just perform phenomenally. Can't recommend this thing enough. I have 12-pound fluorocarbon on here, I believe, since I do use it more so for crankbaits, and man, this thing does the job really well. Got a couple more rods, just 3 more to go through with you. This is my dedicated square bill slash, I can throw jerk baits on there, slash medium diving crankbaits on here, slash top water treble hook baits. Man, this is a do-it-all treble hook bait rod. This is another Dobyns. It's a Champion XP crankbait rod, specifically crankbait rod. This is the full handle, as you saw with that last Caden rod. Full handle, got the cork grips there, holding up phenomenally. Makes it super easy to hold on to, especially when it gets wet. I used this to catch quite a few fish the other day when I was out on the river. I'm actually about to go out on the river again today. Gonna use this exact same setup, see if they're still munching that. Man, I've used this crankbait for quite a while now, smallmouth, largemouth, and I've lost very few fish on it. I love it because I can detect what it's hitting, if it's hitting grass, if it's hitting a limb, piece of structure. It's super sensitive for a crankbait rod. This is a 7 foot, 7 foot medium, moderate fast action. So again, it has that action where it's got a good parabolic action where it's not going to rip it out of the fish's mouth. These Dobyns, I see they are a little different than some of the other as far as the powers and actions and whatnot go, but that's something that I really like about them. They just perform really well. I've grown to love them. It's a 7 foot, so I can make a pretty long cast with it, and it just really controls the crankbait and the fish well. I got it paired up here with again a Shimano Bantam. This one's coming in at a 6:2 to 1 gear ratio. I like to throw a lower gear ratio for my shallow diving crankbaits and medium diving crankbaits. Just an awesome reel. You can do anything with this reel pretty much, and I've just grown to love it as a crankbait reel. So yeah, highly recommend if you're looking for a good crankbait setup. This here, I've heard a lot of hype about this rod, so I had to give in and get it. This is my jerkbait specific rod. I can also throw very light crankbaits on it. This is my Shimano X-Bride. This is another glass rod I have, but like I mentioned with these X-Brides, man, they're not like your typical glass rods. They're not super big, bulky, heavy. They just perform very well, but they do what glass rods do. They have a great parabolic action. They pin the fish well, and they keep them on there. As you can see, got my jerkbait on there. I don't do a whole lot of jerkbait fishing, but it's one thing I've tried to do more because I know jerkbaits this time of year in the winter and spring are phenomenal baits to throw. So I've been using this bait, or using this setup more. I've also thrown smaller crankbaits on there and blade baits. Haven't really had a whole lot of luck yet, but I love the setup itself. This right here is another one of my most expensive reels. This is the Shimano Aldebaran. I got it in a 7/4 to 1 gear ratio. What I love about this reel here is that it's super light. I believe it's one of the lightest that Shimano has to offer, if not the lightest. And it casts lures. You can, honestly guys, I've used it to cast blade baits, jerk baits, crankbaits, and I've even thrown jigs on it. Not on this rod, but I've put this reel on other rods, thrown jigs on it. Last year I caught a 6-pounder and it handled it well. So yeah, it's just a phenomenal reel, super smooth, can cast lures at a variety of weights, just super easy. Yeah man, another phenomenal setup that I highly recommend. Last but certainly not least is yet another X-Bride. I told you guys I'm in love with Shimano, just produces quality products. The only thing I don't like about these X-Brides and some of the Shimano rods, maybe they're gonna have this with the newer lines coming out, is that they don't have a hook keeper. So here on some of them I've bought like a Fuji or Fiji, whatever, hook keeper to put on there. Other ones I just hook it on my reel. But that's one thing I really, if I'm gonna pay that much money for a setup for a rod, I'd love for it to have a hook keeper on there for me. But that is really my only complaint. This here is a 610 medium fast action rod. I use this for finesse jigs, finesse swim baits, as you can see here, blade baits. You can use it for jerk baits. And it just handles them really well. Super sensitive, super versatile. As you can see, no wear and tear, just a little discoloration on the cork from handling it with wet hands and getting some dirt on there. Got it paired up here with the Shimano Chronarch MGLK, that's what it's called. It's been a while since I've had this for such a long time, I forgot the name, but a Shimano Chronarch MGLK. And a 7/4 to 1 gear ratio. This is a relatively affordable reel, I would say, and it's a phenomenal reel. Like the Aldebaran, it's half the price, but it can throw lures for a variety and a wide range of weights and sizes. It's a super phenomenal reel to throw lighter lures on there, but you can't even throw, heavier ones. So I paired this up with a more finesse rod, as it handles these lighter and smaller baits really well. On here I think I actually have 10-pound fluorocarbon on there. Went down just a little bit on that and I haven't had any issues. Yeah, just another great setup. As you can tell, I love the Shimano products. I love the X-Brides. I'm probably just gonna keep purchasing, when I get new ones, new rods, new X-Brides. I've had nothing but good things to really say about them, except for those minor issues like a hook keeper. But that's it, guys. I hope I didn't bore you too much. But if you're like me, man, I love talking about gear. I love talking about tackle, baits, lures, rods, reels, all those things. So yeah, that's all the setups I have right now. I actually have more rods in my garage, but These are all the reels that I have, so these are what I have rigged up right now. So with that being said, I'm all rigged up and I'm about ready to go fishing. So thank you guys again for coming and joining me today, for listening to me talk for a little while, talk about my setups. If you have any questions, please just leave a comment, message me. I'll be glad to answer any, and thank you guys. Hope you have